And then, my world changed when those flashy posters started raining down everywhere. You probably know this intro because it belongs to a cartoon that shaped my childhood, and probably yours too. Yep, we're talking Bakugan. So today, I'm diving into the full saga of Bakugan, from the game's origin to the anime, and unfortunately the reboot. In this video, I'm breaking down the anime's plot, each major phase of the franchise, and giving my 2 cents on its meteoric rise, and the faceplant of its later seasons. Let's get into the origin story, shall we? It all started when an American inventor was casually walking through Walmart, because that's obviously where world-changing ideas are born. He wanted to create a new toy with tiny action figures. Nothing new there, until he saw marbles on the shelf. Bam! Brainwave. What if those marbles opened up into little action figures? So he scribbled the idea on a napkin. Yes, really. And out came the first Bakugan. And guess what? The prototype was none other than Hydronoid, the villain's Bakugan. Talk about dramatic flair. He passed the idea to a friend who sent it to Spin Master, and lucky for them, the execs there were trying to reinvent marbles for the 21st century. Match made in capitalist heaven. But the prototypes were trash, so they did what any sane person would. Sent the idea to Japan, because if anyone can make a game cool, it's the people who gave us Pokemon and Digimon. Sega Toys picked up the project, worked their magic, and built the whole battle system with cards, points, and the rest of the madness. First launch, Canada, as a test. And surprise, it blew up! So Spin Master went global, and Bakugan became one of the most profitable toy franchises in history. It even snagged the Toy Industry Association's 2009 Property of the Year award. Billion-dollar sales? Check. In 2009 alone. 1.6 billion the year after. That's a lot of exploding marbles. Now let's talk about the anime. Once the toys were ready to roll, Spin Master saw dollar signs in a TV series. They offered to fund production, $6 million bucks, mind you, and on April 5th, 2007, Bakugan Battle Brawlers aired in Japan on TV Tokyo. The story follows Dan Kuso, your average anime boy whose life gets flipped upside down when mysterious cards fall from the sky. He and his buddy Shun invent a game called Bakugan, and along with Runo, Marucho, Julie, and Alice, they become the Battle Brawlers. Enter Mask, a shady new player who mysteriously steals everyone's Bakugan. Dan meets a talking Bakugan named Drago, and boom, now it's a buddy cop drama with interdimensional stakes. Japan? Meh, didn't care. But Canada and the US? Obsessed. This led to 3 more seasons, all aired in the West first. And honestly, the first season is still the peak. But for me, this was the best season of the anime. Aside from the plot twist of Masquerade being Alice, no one expected the sweetest and quietest character to actually be the villain. That was one of the best plot twists I've ever seen in an anime. And the next seasons, well, they ditched the ensemble cast and focused way too much on Dan and Drago while forgetting the actual game mechanics. Speaking of which, this show doesn't explain how to play Bakugan, like, at all. I only learned through the PS2 game, which actually breaks it all down. Shout out to that game. It's a banger. You get to create your own character, pick your team, your partner Bakugan, Leonidas, an absolute icon, and it teaches you how the game works. Also, the soundtrack slaps. I'm using one of the tracks in this video. Now, let's talk censorship. The American version got the usual treatment, cut lines, no death references, scenes sliced out. But did you know the Arabic version also got censored? Runo and Julie's midriffs were digitally covered. Modesty, people. The anime also throws in Dragon Ball references throughout, because the creators were hardcore fans who'd worked on that series too. Back to the game. It's available on DS, Wii, PS2, PS3, and Xbox 360. The plot follows a new kid and a Bakugan named Leonidas, trying to stop another Dark Bakugan from destroying the Silent Core. You know, normal kids game stuff. As for Season 2, things go downhill fast. Now Dan and Drago are off to New Vestroia, where an alien race called the Vestals is enslaving Bakugan for gladiator games. Drago gets summoned back home to save his fellow Bakugan. Dan joins a new team with Mira, Ace, and Baron, and boom. Bakugan becomes space opera. And spoiler alert, the game mechanics make even less sense now Resistance. Together, they face off against the Vesta soldiers and the infamous Vexos. A bunch of elite jerks who basically cheat their way through Bakugan battles using every shady tactic in the book. That sums up the gist of this extremely meh season. Honestly, it felt like Spin Master just threw a tantrum. Who cares about the story or the game mechanics? Let's just sell plastic balls. Remember the OG system with 3 Bakugan and 3 cards? Yeah, forget it. It's gone. This season tosses that out the window and replaces it with chaos. Cards, unlimited. Timing, who cares? Just slap down 200 cards whenever you feel like it. No rules, no logic, just consumerism dressed as a card game. Oh, and let's not forget the Bakugan traps and Bakugan gears. 6 extra parts because apparently regular Bakugan just weren't enough anymore. Greed, my friends. Unfiltered, shiny plastic greed. And as if breaking the gameplay wasn't enough, the plot of this season is just painfully average. Some highs and lows, mostly low, but at least we get cameos from old favorites like Masquerade, Alice, Runo, and Julie. Although they just show up to get smacked around by newbies no one cares about. Rule of thumb, if Alice is in the episode, it's worth watching. No Alice? Trash it. Speaking of trash, Dan's new crew, forgettable, bland, black hole of charisma. The only one with a decent backstory is Spectra Phantom's sister, who at least tries to have a character arc. But the rest? A walking pile of cliches. The muscle guy is useless. The dark guy tries to be edgy, but just ends up embarrassing himself. And the rest? Background noise. Now here comes the real horror show, Bakugan Gandelian Invaders, aka the absolute worst season in the history of the franchise. Everything that sucked before, multiplied by 1,000 and launched into deep space. I hate this season with the fire of 1,000 suns. So the plot, if you can call it that, is Dan, Marucho, and Shun creating an interdimensional space where people can play Bakugan. Naturally, this somehow draws in aliens from 2 planets at war. And Dan, he jumps headfirst into this cosmic mess. That's it. Just a big dumb interstellar tug of war over who can recruit more players. Also, they literally spoil the who's evil twist in episode 6. Thanks for killing the tension. If season 2 gave Marucho and Shun a little development, season 3 just tosses them into the background like last year's Bakugan. The only character who gets to do anything is, surprise, Drago. Again. Evolving. Again. Meanwhile, every other Bakugan is treated like an accessory. And just to keep ruining everything, they ditched the point system entirely. Because who needs structure when you've got marketing goals? Oh, and surprise! This season was also a giant ad for a failed online game called Bakugan Dimensions. Yes, they wrecked the anime to sell a web game. Bold strategy, Spin Master. Bold and awful. Then we land on Bakugan Mechtanium Surge, the final nail in the coffin. 46 episodes split into 2 parts and absolutely stuffed with alien races. At this point, it's basically Ben 10 but with marbles. Old alien species return, shoved into a chaotic battle royale. And guess what? It's still all about Dan and Drago. Again, everyone else is just furniture. And Drago evolves again. I've lost count. This time we're dealing with rage, because Dan and Drago get possessed by some alien force and go full emo. And by now, you're exhausted. It's the same plot with different paint. The only tiny win is that some legacy characters come back and actually do stuff. Small miracle. After this season, the Battle Brawlers saga was officially over. But then, they tried to reboot it. Because why not? Let me introduce you to Bakugan Battle Planet. Announced at some 2015 corporate kumbaya, it launched in 2018/2019. The plot? Dan and Drago fighting off evil Bakugan in their neighborhood. Riveting. Only Dan, Shun, and Drago survived the reboot purge. But Shun, he went from deep, mysterious wind brawler to generic water user with 0 soul. Classic downgrade. And don't blame Spin Master this time, blame Cartoon Network. They thought today's kids couldn't sit through 22-minute episodes, so they chopped them down to 11 and turned everything into a slapstick mess to attract a younger audience. The problem is, old school fans hated it. I tried watching this rebooted Bakugan and tapped out by episode 3. Couldn't take it. But hey, if the kids liked it, mission accomplished, I guess. And with that, we've reached the end of our Bakugan journey. Hope you enjoyed the ride. I put a lot of heart into this video, dug deep, rewatched a bunch of episodes, and relived all the chaos for your entertainment. So if you're still here, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button like you're activating a gate card. It helps a lot. Thanks for hanging out, have an awesome week, and I'll see you next time when we dive into another tale of glorious rise and embarrassing downfall. Peace.